Hello and welcome back to Sonny Talk Spurs, and today we're going to take a bit of a deep dive on a player who had an unreal game against Brentford, and that's Yves Bissouma. Before we get into it, if you are new around here, leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Now, let's do this deep dive. So I already did my match reaction to the Brentford game, and if you haven't seen that, watch that after you've sat through this football splendour, as Rory Jennings would say. But yeah, I just wanted to do a little bit of a deep dive and chat about how good Bissouma was against Brentford, because the words can not come to me about how unreal he was, how different a player he looked. You know, when we signed him a year ago for what looks like such a small fee now, between 20 and 30 million pounds, people were happy. I mean, I was shocked when I remember seeing the tweet and being like, how have Tottenham managed this? How have we beaten the likes of Liverpool, who really needed midfielders back then, even like Chelsea and Manchester United, Arsenal, teams like that, to a signing of this calibre? You know, he was so vital in Graham Potter's Brighton team. And to beat those teams to his signature for such a lesser fee, it's just incredible. It just really blew my socks off that we were able to do it. But obviously he had to play under a manager who I don't even want to talk about anymore. I think he's now the new Voldemort. He should not be named Antonio Conte. And it probably stunted a bit of Bissouma's progression. You know, I know he's like 26, but you know, you're coming into the peak of your powers at that age. And after seeing how good he was at Brighton and coming into our system, you just knew that some of those signings from last summer were not Conte signings. And now he's playing under a coach like Ange Postecoglu. We are now going to see the next best thing. We are going to see the player we thought we were going to sign. He's now been given the number 8 shirt, which I think is fantastic. The number 8 at Tottenham is a pivotal shirt. Some legends have won it, whether it's Glenn Hoddle, Ozzy Ardiles, you know, some really massive names, Jermaine Genius. But I'm just stunned, especially going on to that shirt stuff. I thought maybe Maddison would have taken the 8, but obviously with Kane leaving, he's taken the 10. So I'm just really happy with how he played against Brentford in that, you know, 6-8 role depending, but he just dictated the play. He was just always there for an option and a pass. And it really helps the likes of James Maddison be able to spread their wings and actually, you know, be involved more up in the play. But even Bissouma, playing as that 6, he does sit quite high, like most of the Ange team does anyway. But before we move on, I wanted to highlight some of the key stats, which I'm going to show on screen right now. So here's one from StatsBomb. Yves Bissouma completed 22 of his 26 line-breaking pass attempts versus Brentford on Sunday. The most line-breaking passes completed on the opening Premier League weekend. We saw last season a lot of our midfielders struggled with forward passing, and it was a lot of sideways and backwards under Antonio Conte, and we weren't creating chances unless it was Harry Kane dropping deep. So it's just so important that Yves Bissouma is this sort of metronome in the team. And I just think he is going to be so vital to us getting anywhere this season. He is one of our pivotal players, and I hope he stays fit as well. Now, this is what his overall game looked like statistic-wise. He had 136 touches, 103 passes completed, 92% pass accuracy, 38 out of 45 final third passes completed. Bit of a mouthful. He got 11 out of his 15 ground duels won, 7 out of 8 dribbles completed, 7 ball recoveries, 3 out of 4 tackles won, and 2 interceptions. And it goes on to say in this tweet, he is going to cook under Ange Postecoglu. The proof is in the pudding. You know, you put a player in a team like this and it will thrive. You know, I've said, Antonio Conte, it was never going to work. It is just a no-go. But this gives me a lot of confidence going into the season, because I'm actually worried for other fans when they're going to see a lineup of Bissouma, Maddison and Bentancur when he comes back fully fit in around hopefully October, November time. And then hopefully that will take some pressure off the forward line. You know, Son, Kulusevski and Richarlison struggled a little bit yesterday. But, you know, if we are creating chances, which is what an Ange Postecoglu team is all about, it's about creating chances, having a lot of the ball, dictating the play, then I have no worries really. You know, is a massive loss, obviously losing Harry Kane, but having a player like Bissouma being able to tick that ball, it's going to be important. And earlier I obviously alluded to the price. You know, we paid around that 20 to 30 million mark. How cheap does that now look in the modern centre midfielder market? We've just seen obviously Declan Rice go for £100 million. Bit of a different player, but still. Enzo Fernandez obviously went for £100 million. You've now got Moises Caicedo going for a British record of £115 million. The mind boggles. Caicedo, an unreal player at Brighton as well. But, you know, they can have similar sort of impacts on games about passing and progressive passing, tackles, interceptions and stuff like that. And even Lavia going to Chelsea as well. He's going for about £50 million as well. And it just makes the mind boggle that we have really got a good player on our hands. I know he's a bit older than some of those I've mentioned. You know, Lavia's young. Caicedo's 21, which is obviously young as well. But it's just good to see that Tottenham have done a shrewd bit of business that's actually paid off, especially with how the market is going. And also, hopefully, this makes my prediction of Bissouma being one of our most improved players this season even more of a guarantee. You know, in the first game against Brentford, it has shown he can be that sort of powerhouse, and I keep saying metronome, that we have wanted and that we needed and that we thought we were signing a year ago. So I'm very positive. We just need to see if the proof is in the pudding against a team like Manchester United coming up this weekend. So it will be interesting, but it's a test and players need a test, and I'm very happy with what life under Ange for Bissouma is going to look like. But let me know, what have you made of Bissouma's start to the season? Were you impressed? Obviously, he was man of the match, but do you think he's going to develop his game even more? How do you think he will play with the likes of Maddison and Bentancur when he comes back? Let me know in the comments down below. And as I said at the beginning of the video, if you are new around here, please leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. And I've been Sonny Talks Spurs, and I'll see you on the next one. Ciao.